Start that again. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all doing really, really well. An impromptu live stream, bit of a breaking news story about the club coming out from Barron Cross at the Athletic. Sorry about that. Yeah, a bit of a breaking news story that's come out from the Athletic from Barron Cross about Leeds United, and more importantly, the futures of Ethan Ampadu and Daniel Farke. The reason we're doing this is because I'd finished the news, had been edited and put up on YouTube, and then this story came out. That's what I get for trying to go a little bit early on the day. But here we are. It's an important story. There's important breaking news. There is some good news, and I wanted to have a chat with you as well and see what everyone thinks about this. If you could smash a like on this, it'd be massively appreciated. If not subscribed to the channel, consider doing so. And down below, there will be links for all of the new Leeds United kit. If you're buying it from the club store and you want to help support the channel, you can do it that by clicking there. Doesn't change anything that you do, just helps me out a little bit as well. My favorite ITK chair. I'm not an ITK, and I have never been, will never claim to be. Great news. We don't want to get into spoiling us. Apologies. I am apologizing for twice today. It's enough because we're back tonight again with the podcast. So, Leon says, rarely catch a live. Hiya, Jer. Hiya, Leon. You know you're in the summer transfer window when you're doing impromptu live streams in the middle of the afternoon. Good. We're all good. We're all good. Yeah, I was muted. Yeah, if they could sign Farke for the same amount of time, I'd be happy. We'll get to that now in a second. Lots of spoilers in the chat. That's okay. If you haven't heard the news, happy days. Over the moon. Do you know what? This is a good day for Leeds. You've got a cracking new away shirt that has been launched by the club. Brilliant. And now we've got a very important story. One of the most important. I'm going to stick your comments up on the screen, lads, actually, because, you know, leave is rather than just me jumping in and out. Let's make it a bit bigger and make it a bit wider. There you go. Yeah, rather, it's an important day because the transfer window this summer, Barron Cross has pointed out of it, kind of hinges in a couple of key different areas. One is contractual situations that will need to be looked after and make sure that Leeds have all their ducks in a row, don't lose anybody unnecessarily this summer. The second part of it is getting rid of players that are not going to be part of the squad next season and trying to maximize the amount of income they can get from them. And the third one is be strategic and clever about bringing players in. Some of these are really important for now. And we've got a very definitive side on Ethan Ampadu, a less definitive side on Daniel Farke, but a very, very strong indication as to what has happened. So Barron Cross has broken the news in the Athletic. Ethan Ampadu has signed a new contract at Leeds United that will run until 2030, and that will tie him down. Pragmarate's had some bits and pieces to say on that, and I'll give you his quotes in a couple of seconds. Daniel Farke, they haven't signed a new deal just yet, but it does look like they are definitely heading that way. He wants to keep Farke at the club. He believes they're both aligned. And again, I'll give you the comments and quotes from Pragmarate on Daniel Farke, but he does want to keep him there. So not I wouldn't be overly worried by just a four-year deal or 3.5-year deal as it looks like. He's tied down for the next 2 years, which is the most important part of it anyway, and the most important part of what his immediate future will look like in footballing terms. So here's what we've got. Ampadu has signed a new deal at the club, will run until 2030. This is a huge decision for Leeds United to make because Aston Villa and Tottenham Hotspur were both very, very interested in him. This rewards Ethan Ampadu for the work that he's put into the club over the last couple of years. It gives him the financial support, I suppose, that he deserves for what he's put into Leeds. He's been a phenomenal signing for Leeds. You talk about value for money, and everyone talks about Leeds doing it on the cheap. Ethan Ampadu cost us, 7 million quid? You look at the value for money that we've gotten from Ethan Ampadu, which has been massively important. He is that Daniel Farke's general in the middle of the prick. Farke tends to have one player at every single club that he relies on an awful lot. He's got a couple at Leeds, but Ethan Ampadu has always appeared to be the one for him. And you can judge that by players that get put back into action when they come back from being out injured. Most players have to work their way back into the squad. Ethan Ampadu, straight back into the team pretty much every single time. So that tells you something there as well. And I think he gets what it means to be a Leeds United player, probably more than a lot of other people. He talks about wearing that Leeds United shirt like a fan would. He talks about the pressure that it carries, the weight of that shirt, but what it means to play in that shirt and what responsibilities players have to wear that shirt. And that's hugely important to have someone in the dressing room that as new players are coming in and having a conversation with the captain and him telling them, this is what it means to wear this shirt. This is what's expected of you in this shirt. It's not the same as other clubs, you know. So I love that. I think it's massively important. This is what Pragmarate had to say about Ethan Ampadu. And excuse me just for looking down on my notes because I haven't memorized this verbatim and I don't have a teleprompter, contrary to what people think. Ethan was an instrumental. Ethan was instrumental for our whole year, and he's such a captain on and off the pitch. Everything he does is true leadership. He's almost one of us on the pitch, but he's also one of the guys. So we all thought it was such an important first step for us in the upcoming window. And it was. It's almost like a new signing because after your first year surviving the Premier League, it's important that you lock down the players that are fundamental to staying there and can you can build on. And he's a huge part of that. Your captain is massively important. Get someone that the manager trusts, the players trust, the fans trust, and can all get behind him. We know from 3 years ago in the Premier League, the last time we different players wearing the armband didn't always love them. And again, Pava said there as well, he's talked about responsibility of the number as well. The number 4 shirt, that's a really good point that he wears the side before self mentality. Billy Bremner's old number, that number 4 shirt is huge. So it's absolutely fantastic news to get him in lockdown and staying at Leeds for the next couple of years. And if you go through what he said there, Marate, he has been instrumental for Leeds. I've had a little poke at Ethan Ampadu a couple of times over a couple of seasons, and I think I've always tried to caveat it by saying I expect so much from Ethan Ampadu that when he comes in below that, he tends to be someone you pick out on. Sometimes he slows the game down a little bit too much for me. At times, more so in the Championship than the Premier League. But looking at the way that he played this season, if you look at the volume of games he's played, the level that he has been at for most of those games, and he's allowed a little dip every now and then. Also, the fact that we discovered he has a long throw in his locker, which that was a secret for 2 years, and that's been hugely important as well. And the amount of chaos that has caused in boxes. And he got his first Premier League goal this year as well. Man doesn't score a huge amount of goals. It was great to see that as well. There's more goals than Ethan Ampadu. I know there is. So yeah, huge asset for Leeds and a very positive way to start the summer transfer window. It's not a transfer coming in, but it is retaining an incredibly important person for us. Right, that's Ethan Ampadu out the way. Congratulations on your new dealing, Ethan. Very much deserved. And well done to Leeds United for getting that done nice and early and sorting that one out. I'll jump into the comments properly in a couple of seconds. I'll just give you Daniel Farke's story as well. So, as we know, Daniel Farke has got 1 year left on his current and his existing Leeds United contract. He said in a press conference before the end of the season, his job here is done. All the boxes are ticked for the job that he was asked to do when he was brought into Leeds United in the first place. And moving forward, the next 3.5 years, the next 3 year plan needs to match his ambition because he's ambitious and he wants to push on. He wants to be fighting for things rather than fighting to avoid things, which, is there a fan that doesn't agree with that? I think we're all the exact same. We'd rather see Leeds fighting much higher up the table than fighting down the table. So that was fine. Prag Morate has said this in The Athletic on it. He said, my hope and expectation is that he is with us for a while. He's got another 12 months. But we both have interest in keeping this thing going. And at the right time, in the right way, we'll have that conversation. He's a big part of our future. Now, the key lines for me to take out of that are he's a big part of our future. That's not an immediate term statement. That is very much a longer term statement that he's making in terms of where he will go. Wants to keep him at the club, but they want to have that conversation at the right time. You go back to Farke's comments then around Farke wanting to have a bit of a rest before the season finished before really getting stuck into other stuff. The fact that he wants signings this summer and the club to match his ambition, that might be what the right time and the right way means. Let's just hang on a second. I'm happy about 12 months left here. I can sit this summer and have a look at what we do. That will dictate whether I think we're being ambitious enough, which I think is a smart place to go. Morate also said in the article that he loves Daniel Farke's ambition and that he has the exact same ambition. So they are kind of aligned in terms of what they're saying. Farke will want to see what they do before he's 100% bought into that, I would imagine. But he said right now, Morate said, we need to just relax for a minute and just enjoy what we've done over the last 2 years. It's been a crazy couple of years at Leeds and they haven't really had a chance to rest. And then you look at the stadium redevelopment work going on as well. So everyone's kind of up to 90 and they haven't had a chance to just calm everything down right now. He also said Daniel doesn't need to pitch to me a 3 year plan and what it's going to look like. And that's going back to Farke's comments earlier earlier last month about that. He said, we have got this on the right track. We're both on the train. Daniel's on the train. I'm on the train. No bus analogies. We're all on a train because we need to get a tram up to Ellen Road. So we're sticking with train analogies right now. So the basis of this seems to be they both understand each other. They're both keen to keep this moving forward. Both of them seem to have the exact same ambition. Parag Morate wants Daniel Farke to stay at the club long term, at least for another contract, which is about 3-4 years on top of the existing year that he's got. Farke seems to want to continue moving this forward as well. The only outlier is going to be do the ambitions of both of them match when it comes to summer transfers? And that's going to be the key. So, I mean, Daniel Farke, I wouldn't be shocked if Farke doesn't sign a new deal until near the end of the summer. I think that would probably make sense. It gives him a chance to have a little of a look at the summer window and see, well, have they matched the ambitions? Can we push this forward? Have we retained our best players? Have we lost players that we wanted to keep? And have we brought in the right players to make this squad stronger? So in today's news, by the way, this isn't the news video today. If you haven't watched today's news, go check it out, because there is some bits on what Leeds want in the transfer window. So yeah, it's interesting. It's all very interesting. I will jump into a couple of your comments now. Have a quick chat with you. Lee has said, a bit late to the party, but nice to catch you live. Good to see you here, Lee. Buzzing about Amps, my captain. Mark said, think I speak for most on here. When is Jared signing a new long-term contract with the Leeds View? I got accused of being corporate today. Michael says, Leeds have a rich history of players playing in Ampadu's position. KP, Tyler Adams. I'm so glad you mentioned Rudy Austin. Baddy, Bremner, Ampadu is up there amongst the best of them. He absolutely is. Spurs will do well. De Zerbi will reshape them. I think he will. I think they'll fly up the table next season. Won't be anything to do with us. Paz says, dishing out pain. Rodon is the king of pain. Dishing out pain is that. Marcelo says, always plays with a smile on his face, unlike Rodon, who always grins but is in perennial pain. Constant pain. Love it though. Wayne's World said, I believe Farke was talking about taking Leeds further and progressing with the club. Yeah, he seems to want to do that. They seem to want to keep him. All seems to be going the right way. Pav says, if we have a good window, and I know we will, we could fight for a top of the table, but I would be realistically saying 8th to 10th place finish next year with Spurs. I would keep it realistic. I would be happy for Leeds to be between 14th and 12th next year. Anything above that's a huge bonus. Of course, I'd take that, but I think just, steady progress right now. Make sure we've got the money to back us up when we get into the Champions League, or get into the European competitions, if we get into the European competitions, which you've got to say. Great show, great news. Thanks, Dale. Appreciate you, mate. It's not what he does, not his skill. Leave the goals to the pros like DCL and let Ampadu do the rest. Yeah, his physicality, his reading of the game, his talking, his leadership on and off the pitch. Top-notch stuff. Derek says, Jer, you are top place for all these news. Doing a great job. Appreciate that, Derek. Thank you very much. Danny says, well, boy, do you wake you and the training top. Well, use the links down below there. Use them ones. Sorry, I'm flogging stuff, but this is my job. Marcello says, never scored for Wales in 50 or 60 games. Watched the game earlier this week. Sometimes he hits a shot and you think, there's a good reason why you haven't scored. And then sometimes he scores. But I love him. That beast says, currently watching on 2-speed to catch up. I can only imagine how fast I talk on 2-speed. That's so well done, mate. Smash the likes, 414 watching, 130 likes. If you could smash the like, it's free and it would massively appreciate it. I would appreciate that. Giddy says, I don't typically get a name or a number on the back of a shirt, but Ampadu 4 on the new kit feels right. It does. Vober reckons he was a warrior. No, Ampadu is a warrior in the truest sense of what supporters love in the Leeds. The bloke's a club legend in the making. Munchy Toy says that. Yeah, I would agree with that as well. It should be more like on the videos than news. Likes are appreciated on everything because they do help the channel to grow. That's what they are there for. Michael, Jerry, I've noticed you tend to be much harder on Ampadu when you have criticized him, particularly in the championship when he slows the play down, his foot on the ball. Yep, I do. I tend to, as a coach, I was the same. And I used to always say to players when I coached them, the day I stop getting on your back is the day you should be worried. It means they don't rate you and have no interest in you. Ethan Ampadu as a player, I think there's a huge amount more potential. And I don't think we've seen the best of Ethan Ampadu. Yeah, I think there's better things to come from him. He has been phenomenal for Leeds, but there are certain players, I think the expectation level should be set at a minimum pretty high, and they shouldn't be allowed to drop below that. And for me, Ethan Ampadu is one of those players. He is the skipper, and I expect an awful lot from Ethan Ampadu. And I probably am too hard on him, but I'm sure he's exactly as hard on himself as well. That's why I do it. But that doesn't mean I don't rate him. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate what he does for Leeds. And it doesn't mean that I don't value everything that he's given to this club since he's coming, because he has put so much into playing for Leeds United and gets it more than anybody else. So, yeah, hope that clears that one up, Michael. Vegas says, Darlow being all over the new goalkeeper kit. Yeah, no Lucas Perry in the promos and no Pascal Stroke in the promos, which is interesting. Now, the photographs and the promos were all done in December, I believe. So, assign December's logic to that one. Kazuko says, hi, Jer. Finally, I managed to catch a live. So happy with the news. Yeah, it's great news. It really, really is. Michael says, Ampadu, like Rodon, has found a home at Leeds when their main club just went on. Yeah, and I love Joe Rodon as well, but I hold him to a very high standard as well. I think most people do, actually. Mark says the number 4 holds a special place in Leeds fans' hearts. Billy, Bats, Vinny, and now Amps all knew what it meant to wear it. They absolutely did. We go back up here just a little bit to see what everyone says. Who had the money on Farke out last? And I mean, yeah, Danny. I mean, that's huge. Billy was our best ever number 4, always will be. Oliver Decor, throw him in the mix as well. What a player he was. David Batty, amazing. Different times, of course. Calvin says, don't put Adams in with those names. No, I think the point he was making is they played in that position. Ampadu was the most important deal of the summer, and it's done. Pascal Strauchan will be the interesting next one to keep an eye on, But yeah. Elise says a bit late to the party, but nice to catch a live buzzing from my captain. Paul Brody, good afternoon, Paul, one of the regs. Says, first time Farke has had a real financial backer from a club and has shown what he is capable of. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We've talked about that to nth degree this season. Paul also says we could have had Slot. We did. We went for Slot and Areola when we sacked Marcelo. Or was it Jesse? It was Jesse, actually. But we got stuck with Farke. Go figure, eh? I know, mad how things work out. Mark says if we had managed to get Harry Wilson last summer, it's frightening where we could be. Well, fingers crossed we can get him this summer for less. Kezuku says my wife thought another girl messaged me because I was smiling so widely on my phone, seeing the news that Ampadu had signed a new deal. That gets you in trouble. Yeah, we've done the number 4 one. So there you go, folks. That's where it is. If you could smash a like on the video, it'd be massively appreciated. Pop said, haven't heard from Jesse in ages. Oh, he was talking about it again last week. I just don't think anybody pays any attention to Jesse at this stage, but there you go. Anyway, look, thanks for joining me, an impromptu live stream. I do appreciate you popping in. Go check out today's Leeds news as well if you can, and that will give you all the rest of the detail because that's the job. So if you could check that out, I'd really appreciate it. And if you are buying the Leeds United yellow kit or the goalkeepers kits, there are links down below. There are affiliate links that help us out to go straight to the Leeds United official site. So you are getting the proper one, and helps us out as well. So I really appreciate that. The top line is trust the 49ers. I never trust anybody 100% when it comes to football, but until they give you a reason not to, at least give them a pat on the back when they've done the right things. And so far, we've got a brand new stadium being built around the new one, the existing one. We've got players coming in. We've survived the Premier League. Ticking a lot of boxes right now. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it, guys. Thanks to every single one who's dropped in to join us. We'll be back tonight for... They both did. Back tonight for the podcast, myself, Paul, and Andrea Russo doing the season review finally. We'll be closing the polls today for the Player of the Year competitions, and then we're going to give you the results on that next week. We're going to put the polls out for you to vote on that. So it's your call who the Leeds View Player of the Year, Moment of the Year, Goals of the Year, all that is. So if you haven't got involved in that, we'll put the polls out in the next couple of days. You can check that out. Outside that, have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you soon. See you later.